Hey, what is up, Drip Tippers? It is I, Ben Morrison, back with another Drip Tip review. This time, it is of a tank that is fast and furious and capitalizes on Paul Walker's untimely demise. I give you the Furytank. Cue credit sequence. Okay, when the makers of this tank, Anyvape, contacted me and said they wanted me to review a tank, I was like, sweet, free tank. Why not? This channel is growing, almost at 1,000 subscribers, and thank you everyone for commenting. And for those of you who are asking, yes, it is me in the commercial where I'm knitting. And if this is up in time, I will be on National Geographic show Brain Games this Sunday, the 28th. Let me verify that. This Sunday, 28th, National Geographic Channel, Brain Games, doing a fun episode. But back to the tank. This tank, the Furytank, is yet another entry into the sub-ohm tank market, and it actually has some features I have never seen before in a sub-ohm tank, which is pretty cool. However, this is actually the second review video I have done for the Furytank, because the first video was rather negative because they did not include an instruction manual in this, so I didn't know how to use some of the advanced features. So Anyvape, listen, we need instructions. If you're going to do groundbreaking new things, tell me how to use it. That's a big thing. Now, let me start with the naming and the packaging of this hilarious tank. This, man, you should just buy this because they have the balls to do this. First off, if you can see that, that is, of course, the Fast and the Furious font they are using. Make no mistake, the Furytank was named after the Fast and the Furious franchise. Now, if you can see here, what that says is for power, for Paul. For power, for Paul. Yes, you are reading that right. You should buy this tank because Paul Walker would have wanted you to. Let's get into the features before we dive down into the close-up. I'm going to tell you how this thing vapes. I have two of them going right now. This one is using the RBA deck. Which is not bad. And this one is using the pre-installed coil. Which is also not bad. I gotta say the flavor isn't bad. And it does come with an RBA deck. It comes with an extra Pyrex glass tube, which is nice. And of course we have 9 million of them little blue screwdriver replacement coils for the RBA deck and some Japanese cotton. You know who's really happy about vaping? Organic Japanese cotton farmers. They are loving the sub-ohm revolution. So now for one of the main features. The way this tank is laid out is actually pretty interesting. You can see the entire shaft is one piece going inside there. Now, it does have top fill, which I love. Top fill is now kind of a must-have for me on my new tanks. It's just so much easier than removing the tank from the battery. Am I right? You're not going to use on your shit. Ohms don't jump around. Just leave the tank on the fucking battery. Now, first off, one thing I like about this is the drip tip is this tiny little guy, wide bore drip tip, and it's small. It actually screws in, or rather pops into the drip tip base, which has a built-in airflow control on it. I don't know if you can, there you go. That is the actual airflow on the drip tip base. And you can spin it and actually customize the airflow on the drip tip, which is kind of nice to aerate your vapor and cool it down. Now, as I adjust my camera here, top fill. The way it works is instead of screwing the entire top cap off, you actually screw the base, and if you can see there, as you screw the base, there we go. Notice that the entire shaft portion is lowering, and it actually cuts off all of the juice from the coil section and then the top cap just pops off. Boop. And as you can see, you fill from the top down, which is nice. This tank has a 5 mil capacity, and with top fill, you can actually get all the mils in there. Then when you turn it, and then you slowly raise the chamber. That's a pretty cool fucking feature. It could be implemented a little better. Screwing it is a little tight sometimes, but it does actually work. There you go. Boom. And that's how the filling works, which I think is pretty innovative. Everyone and their grandmother has a sub-ohm tank right now, and it's nice to see someone actually trying something a little different and a little ballsy. And yes, they're capitalizing on the death of the star of a major movie franchise, but then again, this stuff is from China, and they mean well. And you got to see the copy on the back of the box. It is hilarious. We'll get to that in the close-up. It also has 4 airflow controllers at the bottom. The airflow on this is actually quite nice. You can spin them around and set your airflow. Nothing too mind-blowing there, but I like the fact that it has 4 airflow intake valves. It does come with the red O-rings. There are no other O-ring color replacements in there, so if you don't like red, fucking deal with it. So I think that is it. Let's dive down in the close-up, and I can actually show you the internals of this. The tank is going to be a little goopy. I had 2 units to review. One was untouched, but then I gave it to my girlfriend because I thought I didn't like the tank. And then I came back and figured out how to use the fucking top fill, figured out how to use the RBA, which is very finicky, and decided that I actually do like this tank, and it, at the very least, has some extremely unique features. So let's go down to the close-up and I can show you more about how this bitch works. Okay, so here you have the Furytank. This, of course, is their universal, let's just do it aspirated packaging that we're seeing all the tanks come in. There is a replacement Pyrex glass tube. Here, of course, whoops, goddamn, there's big shit everywhere. Here's the rebuildable deck section, which I'll get into in a second, which is kind of odd. And here's the packaging. Under here, there is nothing. There's no instructions, it's just paper. And I really could have used instructions because I totally did not get how the top fill worked until I found it out after I had done the first review video, which has now been deleted. So let's get to the tank itself. So, again, sorry it's messy. This is review video number 2. Here we have the coil that it comes with. What I want to do, let's focus on that right there. Now, this coil is kind of weird. It has a big juice intake on either side, and this is actually a dual coil. Let me shine some light on this and show you that it's a little gunked up. But as you can see, there's a horizontal coil at the top, but under it is another horizontal coil crisscrossing it. And I guess it takes the juice with this ring of cotton in between. What I'm not sure about, however, is if that is actually a plastic ring around the coil. Shit. Focus, god damn it. Man. Honestly, I'm doing these on my iPhone because my 2009 MacBook is just way too slow to process video anymore. But Lord, I wish I could use my SLR. I have such a nice SLR. And I can't do shite with it. Maybe this will help. He's bright as fuck. Oh, it's bright. So as you can see, there's a ring of plastic. There's plastic on either side, and I'm not sure if that's plastic right next to the coil, in which case that would be a no-no, but it certainly looks plastic-y. So I don't know if I can really accurately be the judge of that. But there you go. The flavor is good, and it doesn't taste plasticky, which is nice. These coils are rated to go from blurry to blurry watts. I think that's the actual rating right there. God, there's crap everywhere on this thing. This is why you review a tank before you've used it, or at least have a clean one to review. Anyway, the coils aren't bad. The flavor's pretty good, and the vapor production is actually pretty nice, all things considered, at a relatively low wattage. They are rated from 10 to 40 watts. That's like a pretty huge range right there. I've noticed above 35 watts, it gets a little dicey. Here's the RBA deck they ship with, and there are some problems, mainly that this screws in. I wish they had just done a sleeve where you popped it over, kind of like the new Kanger RBA, because once you have cotton on either side of it, unscrewing it is fucking impossible because the cotton gets stuck. You see, and you just gotta do this shit and just jimmy it around. Ah! It's called the Furytank because you have to apply furious pressure to get the RBA deck actually undone. So once you do get it undone, and it ships with, in my opinion, way too much cotton in there. That's a lot of fucking cotton. You don't need that much. But this is how it works. It's tiny in there. Such a cute little guy. There we go. So it comes with a 0.5 ohm coil pre-installed, and it ships with 2 other coils, which aren't bad. They're actually, the coil wire is actually pre-bent in the coil to go under, so I imagine swapping it out will be pretty easy. There is a peak insulator right there that could fit a little better at the bottom, but it does appear to be peak, so that's not bad. And then essentially you put your cotton through the coil, and then you have to really slip the sleeve around the cotton like that. Screw it down. And then get so much cotton here. And then get one of your little black screwdrivers and push it in on either side like that. And that's kind of how the rebuildable deck works. And there are very small juice channels at the bottom, but most of the juice intake will come from the sides once you lower the pumping rod technology. There we go. So it is functional. It does work. And I have one loaded up on my other tank right here. That has the RBA section. And it's not bad. Not amazing, but not bad. That's the RBA. So here's the tank itself. As you can see, there's the top fill. And then let me show you how this works. Where are you? Here you go. So this is the top cap. And here's a closer look at the airflow control. This is removed, and you can put your own drip tip in there, although this one fits pretty well. And then there's the airflow control on the top. Fingers are a little juicy. So there you go. Then once this goes in, you begin to screw it, and as you can see, it's lowered right now, and as you begin to screw it, once it catches the threads, am I doing this right? Why does this shit never work when I'm doing the review? Okay, let's put it together. Maybe... Oh, I know. The coil has threads on the top. The threads need to thread into the actual chamber right here for this to work. That's why it didn't work on my other review video, which you shall not be seeing. So we screw that in. Top cap goes on. There we go. Now it's caught. See, as you can see, there's a spring-loaded mechanism. Isn't that funny? That's their pumping rod technology. Stay. And then once you screw, it raises the chamber up, exposing the juice. It's a pretty cool feature, I gotta say. It's kind of fun seeing it work, and it's innovative. I have not seen that before. I give Anyvape props for having the balls to do it. And speaking of balls, can we please talk about this? Furytank. For power. For Paul. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And this is just, the copy on the back is just straight from Shenzhen. It's an ultimate sub-ohm tank combined with strong airflow, easy refill, vape cloudy but pure flavor, comfortable vaping experience, pumping rod, top fill, the pump rod, it fill from the top with a pump rod, bottom filling available. Stainless BSDC coil, RDA inside, 6mm ultimate airflow, Pyrex glass tube, 5 ml capacity, cool fan inhale, aka air control on the drip tip, stainless material used. It ain't bad. I gotta say, this isn't bad. The problem with the Furytank is I'm not exactly sure if I'd recommend it over other sub-ohm tanks. in pure performance, but the performance isn't bad. It's not the best vape I've ever had, but the fact that it's innovative in other ways, such as by suggesting you get it because Paul Walker would have wanted you to, says that if you did happen to buy one of these, you wouldn't be disappointed. At the very least, it's a conversation piece. So let's pop back out to the not close-up, and I will give you my final thoughts. So that was the close-up of the Furytank. And I guess you watch these things to really find out if I should tell you whether to buy this thing or not. And I'm going to go with a yes. I am going to go with a yes. If you're looking for kind of a fun, innovative tank to go in the 30 to 40 watt range, really about 35, I'd say this isn't a bad bet. The replacement coils, I don't know if I've seen them for sale anywhere individually, but Anyvape is a pretty big company, and I'm sure they will have them. I'm not sure about the plastic inside the coil. It definitely looked like there are rubber bands in there, but I can't taste anything plasticky when I'm vaping on them. And the output of vapor production is definitely satisfactory. I do like the airflow on the top if I just want to cool the vapor down for a little bit. And I gotta say, the lowering main chamber is something I have not seen before, so I'd say good on them. And the flavor's pretty good. And the flavor is pretty good. So, should you buy the Furytank? If you're a Fast and the Furious fan, hell yeah. Buy it for the power. Buy it for Paul. If you're a power tugger and you need massive, massive clouds and you want to pump 75 watts through it, do not buy the Furytank. This tank is not for you. But the top fill and 5 mil capacity plus innovative features make it definitely worth a look, and it's kind of fun showing off how you can lower the bottom chamber. Plus the fact that vapor production is pretty good and the flavor is pretty good. I'd say that for someone who's a collector of sub-ohm tanks and wants something a little unique, the Furytank is definitely worth your time. So thank you once again for all you subscribers. Like I said, we're almost at the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I have a big announcement to make and a giveaway for everyone and a ton of cool shit to review. So as always, I am Ben Morrison for the DripTip. If you want to know more about me, my website is benmorrison.org. Please like the video and subscribe. My final words are, if your tip ain't dripping, you tripping.